my question is, triangle MNO is shown below. Triangle MNO. What is x to the nearest hundredth of a meter? See, this question concerns the law of cosines. Since this triangle is not 90 degrees, we cannot use the simple law. A equals b squared plus c squared, which is Pythagorean's theorem. What the law of cosine does, it makes an adjustment to the Pythagorean theorem. It subtracts 2bc and it multiplies it by cosine of a. The law of cosines, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of a is what we're going to use today. For an example I have for you. Let's say b equals 12. There's going to be our b. C is going to equal 9. And a, we don't know yet. But we do know angle A, which coincides with line A. So we're going to use the law of cosine. A squared equals 12 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 12 times 9 cosine of 87, just like that. All we did was plug everything in. Now if we start solving, we will get a squared equals 44, which is 12 squared, plus 81 minus 216, which is what equals 2 times 12 would be 24, 2 times 9 would be 18. So that would all equal 216 times the cosine of 87. If we go in again, this would simplify to 225. This is 216, and this will stay the same. Okay. Now, if we take my handy dandy calculator, come in, we're gonna do this equation. If we do 225 minus 216 times the cosine of 87, we'll get 213. But always remember, since this is a squared, we're gonna have to square the whole thing. Alright. So a equals what we just got, which would be 213 and 6. And if we square this, it would be around 14.6. And then this would have been 213.7. Now back to our question. Here we have triangle MNO. I already have it drawn out for you. And we need to find x. In order to find x, we're going to use the law of cosine, which would be a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of a. Now, to plug everything in, we have to obviously label. Let's have 1.8 b, and 1.6 b, c. If we substitute everything in the equation, we're solving for x squared equals b squared, which would now be 1.8 plus 1.6 to now be c minus 2 times 1.8 times 1.6 times the cosine of what would be 57. Okay, if we use my handy dandy calculator, we're gonna see that 1.8 squared plus 1.6 squared minus 2 times 1.8 times 1.6 times 57 cosine will get you 2.66. And if you find the square root of that, which should be 1.63. If we write this out, x equals 2.6628791158. We cannot round since we're not at the end yet. And then to solve for x, which is a square, we have to square everything in the equation. This cancels out. That will be x equals square root of this, which would be 1.63183306.7. If we look at our answers, our possible answers, it says to round to the 100th of a meter. If we round to the 100th of a meter, which would be 1.63, x equals 1.63, which would be answer B.